All
That
right.
collection won 2 international awards for its textile design, and that walked the ramp in Shanghai Fashion Week.
From the Garden State, New Jersey, from one mom to another, it's time for Mom's Talk. Here's Avni.
Welcome, Supermoms, to yet another episode of Mom's Talk. Today's Supermom guest is an international fashion designer. Joining us, Vino Supraja. Vino, welcome to the show.
Hey, Avni, lovely to speak to you today. And I have been always introduced as a fashion designer, but being introduced
Uh-huh.
as a super mom gives me extra high. It feels really great for that.
Supermoms have superpowers, and that's what we are doing right now. We're proving
True, that's
that.
true. Agree.
Lovely to have you, Vino. Let's start off with talking about your brand and what all places have you showcased your brand?
So I studied fashion in Shanghai, in China.
Mhm.
My graduation collection won a couple of international awards for textile design there. So it got
Wow.
selected to be showcased in Shanghai Fashion Week, and
Mhm.
my first runway was Shanghai Fashion Week. I was lucky that way. It was
Uh-huh.
huge for a
Wow.
student, fresh graduate. And then I moved to the US and I was living in Detroit. I have showcased my collections in many runways in Detroit, in and around Michigan.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I've also showcased my collection in Brooklyn Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week. And then I moved to Dubai, and there I also showcased my collection in the Sustainable Fashion Runway that was conducted by Fashion Revolution chapter of UAE. So yeah, that
Lovely.
was my journey.
That's fantastic, Vino. So you have your own brand?
Yeah. So basically, as soon as I finished studying fashion, I
Mhm.
started off as a bespoke designer. So I had one-on-one clients. I had a studio attached to my home. So that's how I
Mhm.
started. But then when I moved to Dubai, I had a teacher where in Dubai I studied fashion marketing. So I
Mhm.
had a teacher there who spoke to me about the fashion pollution, and he spoke to me about what fashion is doing to this earth. So it was
Uh-huh.
kind of, I was feeling guilty that I'm being part of this industry which is causing so much damage. So I shifted my path consciously and I started my sustainable fashion brand from 2019. My bespoke brand has become a sustainable fashion brand in the online platform.
That is absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Now, when it comes to fashion, there's every woman out there, whether it's girls or women or supermom, they have this emotional attachment with fashion. And since you have this great exposure of of international platforms, what I would actually like to know, what does fashion mean to you?
Okay. Fashion, I will tell you what doesn't fashion mean to me. Fashion is not any trend. Fashion is not following someone or copying someone. Fashion is just a reflection of who you are. It's your
Uh-huh.
personality. So you wear who you are, you wear your own style, you showcase your part of this is like a second skin, this is
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
You're not trying to become some actress, or you're not trying to copy someone else and just dress up like them. It is
Mm-hmm.
you, and your style will be really appreciated when you do that, when you
Uh-huh.
dress who you are rather than copying someone else. If you're going to dress the way who you are as a person, for example, there are artists, the minute you see them you can say that it is them. Their art, the clothes they wear, the way they speak,
Yeah,
the accessories
yeah.
they wear, everything will be cohesive. They belong to that world. You can say that
True.
they never try to copy anyone else. For example, I would say Emma Subbulakshmi, singer,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Carnatic singer.
yeah.
Gandhi ji and Nehru were all like big fan of her. So every time Gandhi like comes to South India, he used to call her to sing for him. Vaishnav Janato, she used to sing for him. But
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
she went to the US, she never dressed up. When she went to sing in the UN, she never dressed
Yeah.
up Western way, or she never changed. She used to wear simple Kanjivaram silk saris wherever she goes. And there is a color named after her. It's called MS Blue. What a fashion
Wow.
icon. How many of us have that privilege, right?
True.
Just,
Yeah.
she was so original. She just stuck to who she was as a person, and she
Mhm.
wore who she was. And then there is a color in her name. So that's
Uh-huh.
what I
Uh-huh.
when you wear who you are, when you show who you are as a person, your style will be truly appreciated.
That is very well said, Vino. And that's the truth. Sometimes people do tend to follow others in the fashion sense and style. And okay, this is in, let me just wear this. But if you don't feel comfortable in what you're wearing, you won't be able to carry it as well. So, what you just said makes a lot of sense and I think it will be helpful to everyone, including me, that you don't really have to follow a certain trend. Create one of your own, and you will be the most comfortable person and confident, I would say. So,
Thank you.
I know you have been working into the entertainment business for a really long time. So I would like to know a little bit about that. I mean, how was your childhood? Did you get that kind of exposure from the beginning? How did you get into that field?
Okay. So I come from a small town called Vandavasi. It's near
Mm-hmm.
Kanchipuram, and it's a small town. My dad was a doctor there. So I studied, my schooling was in government boys higher secondary school. It was a
Oh,
boys
okay.
secondary school which was in Tamil medium, and there
Okay.
was one section which was co-education and English medium. So that's where I studied. We
Uh-huh.
used to wear half sarees from ninth standard, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. We used to wear only half sarees every single day. And
Okay.
I joined architecture in Chennai in SRM.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Mm-hmm.
where I would say I got a bit of exposure. Initially, I didn't know how to speak English, and
Mm-hmm.
I was having self doubts. I was not very confident, and I used to just hide behind somebody who is sitting in front of me. If the teacher would ask some question, how do I answer, and all those things. But
Uh-huh.
then, slowly you learn, you make new friends, and you kind of evolve. And after finishing architecture, I did an animation course in Pentamedia, because that's
All
when the
right.
3D Max and Maya and all those things were coming up.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
I studied animation, and that is where the world of media opened in front of me. That is where I knew what I was taught, what was a shot, and what is edit,
Uh-huh.
what is and all those things. So I got interested in that. I auditioned for a radio jockey position in Radio One, and I
All
became the break.
right.
I was hosting the breakfast show for the station, and then I entered television. Once you get into one form of media, you get invited to other, and
Yeah.
I was a television host for 4 years. I used to do live shows every single day,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's when I had to move to China because of my husband's job.
All
So
right.
a strong career of 5 years in media, which
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
involved only talking in Tamil. And
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
had to move to China where I didn't know the language. So I didn't know
That would
what,
have been a big change for you.
it was a huge change, and I didn't know what to do because,
Mhm.
my son was in his second standard then, and he went to school by 7 o'clock in the morning, and he was back only by 4.
Mhm,
And just
mhm.
before moving to China, I was super busy. Apart from television and radio, I used to do a lot of voiceovers. I used to run here and there for costume fittings,
Uh-huh.
hairdressing. Is that, how it is, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
super busy schedule for me every single day. So then suddenly you move to China where nobody knows you, and you don't know the
Mhm.
language, don't know what to do because there is no media. It was like every door was shut. That's it. What are you going to do now? The fate was laughing at me. So now what? What are you going to do? And I thought, like, the whole day I'm free. And suddenly
Mhm,
not doing anything in a new land where you don't have any friends, it was
mhm,
kind of very depressing. So I thought,
mhm, mhm.
uh, the fact that I was not putting makeup on every single day itself was bothering me because I used to do that every
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Right?
And
That
you're
heavy.
right, it's hard to change our schedule. And then, at
The
one
routine.
at one point, yeah, the routine. At one point you're so busy, you're running around, you're dressing up and everything, and then suddenly everything stops. It
Yeah.
must have been difficult, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then I thought, like, if I'm going to leave myself like this, I will end up crying all the time, curling up in the bed because there was no drive. After 7 o'clock, I
Hmm.
don't know, I had nothing to do. What do I do?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so then I thought, okay, let me at least study. I was in media. I was looking for some course, maybe in TV, films, or something. So I was searching
Yeah.
on the internet. Google, there is no Google in China. That was
All
another major
right.
shock for me. And I could find two websites in English. Rest of them were
Hmm.
all in Chinese. So there
Uh-huh.
were only, two websites in English, which was one was a business school, and
Hmm.
other one was a fashion school. So at that point in time, business sounded very boring to me. I thought it was all numbers, business, numbers, money. No, 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 no. So anyway, you already have a creative background with you. So I
True.
fine, let us try fashion, and that's how I joined fashion school. But
All
when I
right.
joined school, I realized that all my classmates were just out of high school because it was a bachelor's degree again. So
Okay.
I was 32 with the son going to school, doing his second standard, and
Uh-huh.
all these high school kids who wanted to become a fashion designer right from their childhood. It was their dream,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was someone who just went there by an accident. I never wanted to become a designer or something. And
Hmm.
when I entered fashion school, the first day, my teachers were showing some, things to buy.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
were showing some tools like set squares and, rotring pens and things like that. And I was very
Yeah.
happy because those were the tools that I was using in my school of architecture also.
Yeah,
So these
yeah, yeah.
looked familiar to me. So I was like, okay, fine. I think I can manage this. But
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
you know, when the actual design classes started,
Hmm.
everyone around me were discussing about the spring summer collection of John Galliano in Dior runway, and they were talking about Karl Lagerfeld's fall winter collection the previous year. I was like,
Hmm.
wait, who are these people? The first, what are you all? What is a collection? What are you all talking about? Because yeah, I am from a small town, yeah,
Hmm.
and Chennai
Hmm.
is not a major fashion hub where you have all these brands. All I know was Globus pantaloons and these basic.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was not even these many brands back then. I'm talking about 2011.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I really didn't have any idea. Everything was sounding Greek and Latin to me, not even French. It was all Greek and Latin. I was like, what have I done to myself? And so then I went to my teacher after the class and then I told him, Sir, I don't know anything about fashion. And
Hmm.
somehow I
Hmm.
am here. Please help me understand. Whatever names you said, I have noted them down. I still remember Karl Lagerfeld, I didn't know the spelling. Dior, I didn't know the spelling. I wrote everything in Tamil because I only could hear the pronunciation.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know the spelling. Dior means
yeah.
what? Daror or what? So I wrote everything in Tamil.
Yeah.
Let us go home and Google and find out what these things are, whether it's a name
No,
or
but
a
it's a
thing.
good thing, even if you didn't know, you accepted it and you went up to the professor and you asked him, what is this all about? You were true to yourself. And I think that is very important. Only then
Actually,
that means you're ready to learn.
actually, I call this technique as Saranagati technique. Okay, when
Uh-huh.
you do anything, just surrender yourself.
Saranagati.
Just tell everyone, yes, I don't know. Only when you accept that you don't know, people will be happy to teach you. If you're
That is
going to
so true.
if you're going to pretend that you already know everything, they will
Yeah.
easily find out that you're pretending first thing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then there will be no interest in teaching you.
True,
Ah,
true.
so you are already posing that why would I come and teach you?
Yeah.
So I went and
True.
spoke to all my teachers, every subject I told them, I know nothing. I know nothing. So they kind of
Mm-hmm.
took extra care on me because
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I could see that I had the interest. And you know what? There is also a difference between the way you learn when you are
Mm-hmm.
in your teens, 17, 18, 19,
Yeah.
and your father is paying the college fee, and when you are, already in a profession, you have already had the work experience, and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
your 30s, and the fees is going from your own pocket. There is a difference
Yeah.
in learning.
Responsibility kicks in.
And you know what the industry is expecting out of you.
Yeah.
It is not
Mm-hmm.
just answering question papers and then getting marks. You
Yeah.
know, when you go face the industry, you have to know certain things, right? So you
True.
kind of,
True.
so I went and spoke to everyone, and stitching was a big problem to me. I couldn't stitch one single straight line.
Uh-huh.
And I used to call my husband every sewing
Yeah.
class, call him and cry, saying, I think I have made a big mistake. This is not coming to me. Not even one
Yeah.
single line. How am I going to pass this? I think I have committed a
Mm-hmm.
crime. This is not. And so that's how it was in the first year.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
struggle. It was also a struggle in terms of climate. I have never lived in a cold
Mm-hmm.
country. In
Yeah.
fact, the first ever country I moved out of India was Shanghai. I have never gone abroad.
Uh-huh.
So that was my first winter, and I had to be in the college by 8 a.m. in the morning. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to
Mm-hmm.
cook for the whole family, leave home
Yeah.
by 7 a.m., and reach college by 8 a.m. And it
Mm-hmm.
used to be freezing cold. Now that I think about the Shanghai cold, I'm thinking like I have lived in Detroit after that, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Shanghai was really cold. So I used
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
there are days when I cried in the lift,
Mm-hmm.
thinking, why am I doing this? Why can't I just, stay at home, sleep, wake up by 10 a.m.
Yeah.
and happily relax? Why am I doing this? What are you doing this? What nonsense is this? And all those things, all those
There
insecurities.
are these emotions that are kind of battling with each other in your mind at this point of time. You
Uh,
have left something where you were super duper busy, very successful in that career, and then you switch it to something completely different. I think it must have been emotionally very, it would have taken a lot of toll. So I really want to know now what was going on in your mind. I mean, you did get into the university, into fashion designing, but at the same time, on a personal level, I know you mentioned that you used to cry and you used to tell your husband that you want to give up and not do this. But how did you keep up with that? How did you, sort of fought and get back into this field?
Two things, yeah. One is desperation.
Hmm.
See, whether studying this course and suffering is a better suffering, or sitting at home and crying is a better suffering. At least in the first case, I am gaining some knowledge. I am at least
True.
quenching my
Hmm.
curiosity,
Hmm.
thirst for learning things. At least that is getting quenched. But in the
Yeah.
second case, there is nothing around you. You will be in a still house
Yeah.
from morning to
Yeah.
evening, and you will have nothing to do. At least now I dress up, I see people. So, and I always mention, during those days when I used to climb the lift or carrying my all my tools and climb the stairs for fifth floor, sixth floor, and all those things.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Always, that's when this movie called Vishwarupam was getting made.
Hmm.
Okay, and Kamal Hassan was learning Kathak for that movie from a
Uh-huh.
master. Okay, and I've always been a fan, and I look up to him always. So I used to
Yeah.
support myself. Someone who is a legend, who doesn't have anything to prove to anyone anymore, is
Hmm.
learning something new for the sake of a movie. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't have to do it. Why should he strain himself at the age of 60? He must be
Yeah.
having his problems with his body, right? But then he's
Yeah.
learning. When that man can do such a great physical work, learning a new art form and then performing and all those things, what is wrong with you? You're only half his age. and you are just coming to college and you're learning something new. What's your problem?
Yeah.
You have a nice house, you have a family who is not really cribbing about this. They are ready to, in fact, help you in your homeworks and cutting papers for you and everything. What is your problem? Can't you wake up at 5:30 and do all this? Is that such a big thing to sacrifice or something? So I used to
I think
scold myself.
positivity. I think the way you're mentioning, it's the positive attitude that you kept throughout this time. You looked at the positives. You looked up to some people, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful how you did this.
And I always draw inspiration from the books I read.
Uh-huh.
So I read a book at that point in time called Outlier, which
Mm-hmm.
said that you will become a master in any craft, anything on this world, if you spend 10,000 hours on it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
How how many hours per day are you going to spend the 10,000 hours? If you're going to spend half an hour every single day, then in 20,000 days maybe you'll become an expert. But if you're going to spend 10 hours a day towards
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but sooner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought, okay, let us try this 1,000 times. This week I'm going to try this 1,000 times. That's it. 2, 3, like a
Yeah.
mad crow. I was like, there used to be paper everywhere in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Draw and draw and draw and draw. It will come, no? At least
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, me feeling some pity for me, it will come, right? So it came in the end. And you know what? When I was in second year,
Yeah.
we were made to design a kids collection.
Mm-hmm.
And the prompt that was given was we were supposed to design a kids collection inspired from a fairy tale, a classic fairy tale,
Okay.
a classic kids book, basically. At
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
point, I realized that I have never read a fairy tale in my life because we never had fairy tales back home. We never used to get all these books in my village.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to my son, I used to buy books for him. So I never bothered to buy Cinderella or Snow White for him. I used
Yeah.
to buy books which fascinated me. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to go
Mm-hmm.
to Landmark and find some nice car, bus, train speaking and such books. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about so many stories and I didn't know those stories. Then how would I get inspired? I went to
Yeah.
a English bookstore in China, and then
Mm-hmm.
I bought some 10 story books. And Pinocchio was very interesting to me, so I made a collection inspired from Pinocchio. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, the whole 3 years, the third year, I was kind of ready, to do the
You
my
got the
final.
hang of it then.
Yeah, yeah. I knew how to approach a collection and then how to get inspired. And the teachers were also very happy that I was picking up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were helping and all those things. So my final year graduation collection was inspired from the book Kite Runner,
Mm-hmm.
and the collection was called Patang, and
All
that
right.
collection won 2 international awards for its textile design, and that walked the ramp in Shanghai Fashion Week.
That's lovely. Awesome.
And that day was like, I won the Golden Laureate Award, and
Uh-huh.
that
Uh-huh.
day was really emotional to me because I knew what I went through all these three
Yeah.
years, and if you really put your heart and soul into something, if you try hard, if you really give your best, universe will give you back. Yeah, it's just waiting there
Mm-hmm.
to see hardworking people to just shower them with all the blessings. It is just
That
that
is
we have
so true.
no.
Yeah, and the way you have you have expressed and you have told us how you dealt with all these things, and you definitely did it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's another book which had a very good logic that really I was convinced with. It
Yeah.
said happiness is just a byproduct
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
problem solving. You can't work towards happiness if you're entering a math examination hall where
Mm-hmm.
they're going to conduct math exams.
Mm-hmm.
You will of course get a question paper full of problems,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't ask them like, why have you given me problems in this question paper? Because you
Yeah.
have entered that hall to write the damn exam, right?
Yeah.
similarly, if you are born in this world, you are
Mm-hmm.
here, so you will get problems. That is your task. You
So
have to
true.
smartly, solve problem after problem. As long as you are alive, you will get problems. The way you smartly handle problem after problem, just because you have solved a problem, this byproduct called happiness will come. If there is no
That is
problem,
so true.
no happiness. This
Yeah.
logic, no, it kind of convinced
Yeah.
me.
No, that is true because, people usually say about, oh, there are a lot of problems in life. But how you said, we are here. I mean, there are going to be problems, but the way you deal with it and not really focus on the negatives, but the positives is what is going to help you.
Actually, I would say there were also bigger lessons. So when I moved
Hmm.
to the US, okay, China episode was over,
Yeah.
and my Shanghai Fashion Week happened. All the laureate, everything happened, and my name was mentioned in Vogue, Elle, and all those things of China.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
had to move to the US. That too to Detroit. It is not a fashion hub, and
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
was
Yeah.
a city which was just reviving back from the Great Recession. So it was almost
Okay.
like a dead city. But
It
I could
was
have.
all ready for winnow now, no matter how the situations, how bad the situations get, winnow gets there and wins it.
See, actually, when I went there, there was nothing happening. Luckily, there was Google. So I was Googling, and then I was trying to find out what is happening, trying to get some contacts. And at that point, what I realized was like, just like how I went and spoke to my teachers that I don't know anything.
Yeah,
Similarly, when you are seeking for something, right, you need to go and reach out to people. You need to ask.
true, true. Hmm.
Don't
Hmm.
just shy away and not ask for help for anything, for emotional
Hmm.
support or for your professional support or anything. Just ask whoever
Yeah,
you. Just tell them who you are. I'm looking for this. You never know, yeah, where what will click where.
that is
Just
so true.
yeah.
But this is wonderful. You won Detroit and then Dubai Fashion Week and Shanghai. Amazing, amazing journey, Vino. I just cannot stop talking to you. And there's a lot that I think we are going to take away from this lovely, lovely conversation of art. Real quick, what would be your message for our viewers, our mothers?
Okay. See, being a mother is not easy. It needs a lot of dedication. It's a lot of hard work. And
Hmm.
if you are alone without a support system, without maids to take care of your child or children,
Hmm.
or without
Hmm.
family, without grannies to narrate stories to the child or
Hmm.
anything, if you're alone, it is difficult. Okay, it is difficult. First, accept that. So, don't just put so much pressure on yourself to do something while you are still tending to your small child. It's
Hmm.
okay not to do anything for few years if it's
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
you know what I mean. Life is long, yeah. Just look at
Hmm.
it from the
Hmm.
bird's eye view. Just not doing anything for 1 year or 2 years in your lifespan of 70, 75 years, it's okay. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
write your story. I started fashion when I was 32,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And it is absolutely fine not to do anything or take a break for a few years, and then when you can, take all the pressure on you, because
Hmm.
putting a pressure on yourself and trying to do so many things when already you have a child to take care of,
Hmm.
it causes major damage to you internally and externally, in
True.
relationships, to your health, to your to your soul and everything.
Hmm.
So it's okay, take it easy. When you're a
Yeah.
mom, prioritize what is important to you. What is
Hmm.
important
Hmm.
on your career? I'm not saying this is what you should prioritize. What I'm saying is
Hmm.
it's a very subjective perspective. Okay, there are
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
career, or whatever it is,
Yeah, it depends. It differs from a person to another.
whatever your priority is, be truthful to it and give 100% towards it. Don't just try
Hmm.
to do so many things and then get lost in everything.
Hmm.
And reach out for help if you're
Hmm.
going through
Hmm.
something. Talk to people. And there is nothing wrong in meeting a therapist. There is nothing. I
Hmm.
have met therapists in my life. When I lost
Hmm.
my mom, I had to go to therapy. It's okay. Talk to
Mm-hmm.
them. Or it is perfectly normal to feel vulnerable. It is
Mm-hmm.
perfectly normal to feel like you don't know much. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not anybody knows everything, right? I may
Yeah,
be good at fashion, but I don't know to make a great biryani,
true.
right? I'm not a chef.
Yeah.
Chef may know to make biryani, maybe he will not know to make a good gown, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So don't judge yourself. Don't be very harsh on yourself. Just
Mm-hmm.
take it, yeah, chill. We have a question paper. Let's go
Yep.
one after another. One question at a time. Solve a problem, one problem at a time, and then
Love
finish.
it. Love it. I love the way you think, I love the way you take life. And I love the way how you have won so many hearts and all these fashion shows are all the very best with that.
Thank
We'll
you.
meet up soon. We have to meet up soon.
Sure. Definitely. Whenever you are coming this side to India, please let me know. Let's catch up.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time once again, Vino.
Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Avni from Mom's Talk. Help me spread the word and join me on my mission of motivating other moms by sharing the video. Thank you for watching.